welcome to an India Today special broadcast that comes to you from Vijay Chowk, the heart of the national capital, the Raisina Hill. I'm Gaurav Sawant, and there is total lockdown in some localities in Delhi and in adjoining suburbs in Noida. And the effort is to arrest the spread of coronavirus. This is a desperate measure being adopted. There is no reason to panic. Total lockdown means certain localities will be sealed because the aim is to ensure coronavirus does not spread in communities, especially in these specially designated hotspots. And on the broadcast, we will get you details of these hotspots in Delhi and adjoining Noida, Gautam Budh Nagar and other parts. That's our top focus story. But first, as always, the headlines. Let's begin this broadcast with the big numbers in our country. So even as we speak, there are 5,274 confirmed coronavirus cases in India. Is there reason to be concerned? At this stage, there is reason to be concerned because 149 people have lost their lives. But the good news story is 411 people have recovered from the novel coronavirus. So if you have a strong willpower, you have access to doctors, you will recover, is what healthcare professionals say. I once again want to come back to our top focus story. Hotspots in the national capital and in adjoining Gautam Budh Nagar, Ghaziabad, Noida, and this is an area which will now be completely sealed off for the next 1 week. So from midnight tonight, next 2 hours, police are moving in even as we speak. Barricades are being set up, and these are several localities where there have been cases of coronavirus. And the apprehension is, unless there's a strict lockdown that's enforced, there could be community transmission. A pocket in Nizamuddin, for example. Remember the Tablighi Jamaat Markaz? They met in that area. So that is one place. A part of Bengali market in Delhi, that's a place. There are places in Noida, and an entire list has now come out. Some sectors in Noida adjoining Delhi have been completely sealed off. I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Shiv Arur and Aishwarya Paliwal, who joined me for more on the story. In a moment, we'll be joined by more reporters for more information on a lockdown in specific localities to prevent community transmission of coronavirus. Shiv Arur joins us. Shiv, bring us details of the lockdown in Noida.
Gaurav, it's already in force. You can see it everywhere you go. We've just driven around Noida. Reporters have been sending us information. A total of 22 hotspots. You know, after a morning of some confusion that all of Noida and Greater Noida and the Gautam Budh Nagar area would be sealed, it finally became clear that it was only a small group of hotspots, which is basically 22 hotspots. These are specific sectors of Noida as well as apartment complexes, gated colonies, Gaurav, in Noida that have been identified where there are more than 6 COVID affected cases in those areas. What we're hearing and what we're seeing on the ground is at all of these hotspots, the enforcement is at maximum right now. Like we have on our screen, what this sealing really means is that people will not be able to forget about leaving their colonies. They won't be able to leave their homes. There will be a call center set up for essential commodities to be delivered to them. So even under the lockdown, the rhythm that people had gotten used to, Gaurav, about going out and getting essentials and coming home, that goes away as well here in Noida under these elevated restrictions. These, it should be remembered, will be in force up till the 15th of April, the morning of 15th of April roughly, after which it will be reviewed. But it was deemed necessary by the UP government in consultation with others because the hotspot containment model is seen to be effective in some other areas like in Rajasthan and Maharashtra, and that's why it was necessary here, because the spread was seen to be quite big in this area.
Remember, it's very important to save lives at this point of time and also ensure that there is no community transmission. It doesn't spread from one person to another person and then to a wider community in a locality. And I want to cut across to Aishwarya Paliwal for more on the story in the heart of the national capital. Aishwarya, several localities in Delhi. Can you give us details and what happens if people, for example, want to go and buy milk and vegetables? What arrangements are being made for basic essentials to be made available to people where they are?
Well, let me tell you, where I'm standing, you can see it is a chemist shop and people have already started queuing up. It's just the next 2 hours. Within the next 2 hours, we will see a lockdown within a lockdown. Now, what the government is assuring people is that essential services will be provided to them, but you cannot step out of your house. That means the government is setting up a helpline. If you want something, you give a call to that helpline, you give out your address, you tell them what you need. All those things will be home delivered. But let me tell you, Gaurav, why people are apprehensive and why people are panicking. Because people don't know whether if they make a call tomorrow, will the call be answered? In case it will be answered, how much time will the delivery take? Will they get the items that they need? Which is why you are seeing right outside the chemist shop, most of the people queuing out, wanting to take a stock of at least a month. Because a lot of people we spoke with told us that they want to buy essential medicines. They don't know whether tomorrow if they make a call to the helpline, they will get they will get what they want immediately, or will it take time? That's the apprehension that we are seeing in the people in those areas where we are now seeing enhanced lockdown.
Stay with me. There is no need to panic. That's what the government is telling people. There is no need to panic. The administration is making efforts to ensure that whatever is required will be made available to them. And I want to cut across to India Today's Mosmi Singh, who joins us with more on this. Mosmi, are you also seeing panic buying? Are you seeing areas being barricaded where you are?
All right, Gaurav, this is a big development here right in the heart of the national capital. We are at Bengali Market and this entire area has been cordoned off and sealed. A sanitation drive is taking place because there have been 3 COVID positive cases that have been found in this area. Now you're looking at this market, which is actually the heart of Delhi, and we are told that these shops have been found flouting norms. Bengali pastry shop, almost 35 workers cramped into the pastry shop, and there has been an order to book a case against the owner of the Bengali pastry shop. Several other shops had workers stocked like cattle inside the shops, and the entire area has been cordoned off. You can see that the Delhi police has deployed barricades on literally all the spots. Screening of more than 2,000 people had happened, door to door, house to house screening. 3 workers have been tested positive and they have been taken to the government hospital. We are also told that this market will also only run open for a stipulated period of time, and this entire area is completely out of bounds as far as implementing a complete lockdown is concerned after these 3 cases were tested positive. Gaurav, over to you.
Shiv Arur, Aishwarya Paliwal and Mosmi Singh, keep tracking that story. I will come back to you for more as this story develops through the night tonight and early tomorrow. So some pockets, and you're seeing that list on your television screen, these localities in Delhi, adjoining Noida, in Ghaziabad, in Greater Noida, they're being completely sealed off. The effort is to ensure that coronavirus does not spread to the community in these areas. I now want to shift focus to the other big story we're tracking here on India First, and that is India coming to the rescue, the savior of countries like Brazil and the United States of America in some ways. For example, the Brazilian president, he compared Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Sankat Mochan Hanuman. Incidentally, today is Hanuman Jayanti, and he said, like, Lord Hanuman brought the Sanjeevani booty to save Lakshman. Similarly, India is being kind enough to bring the hydroxychloroquine to COVID-19 patients, whether in the United States of America or in Brazil.
The United States is in the midst of the worst coronavirus pandemic. with 2,000 fresh deaths reported on Tuesday. Amid the crisis and deaths came some much-needed good news from ally India. The Modi government agreed to honour past pacts and prepaid orders of hydroxychloroquine, the drug seen by the Trump administration as holding much potential. Trump thanked Prime Minister Modi for agreeing to supply the drug despite an earlier export ban by India, revealing that the US has a deal for 29 million pills from India.
We have more than 29 million doses, and that's a lot. And we have others. I spoke with Prime Minister Modi. They have a lot of it comes out of India, and I asked him if it would be okay if he released it. He was great. He was really good. It was, they put a stop because they want it for India. But there's a lot of good things coming from that. A lot of people are looking at it and saying, there's just, I don't hear bad stories. I hear good stories, and I don't hear anything where it's causing death.
Earlier, Trump had warned of retaliation if India says no to US's request for the anti-malarial drug.
I spoke to him Sunday morning, called him, and I said, we'd appreciate your allowing our supply to come out. If he doesn't allow it to come out, that would be okay. But of course, there may be retaliation. Why wouldn't there be?
Brazilian President too lauded Prime Minister Modi's decision to export the anti-malarial drug, comparing him to Lord Hanuman, who had brought the Sanjeevani booty in Ramayana to heal injured Lakshman. India is one of the leading producers and exporters of hydroxychloroquine, and its decision to import the much-needed medicine is being hailed by the international community as a great humanitarian gesture. Bureau Report, India Today.
And India Today's Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan spoke to Brazil's ambassador to India. Let's listen in.
President Bolsonaro decided to call the Prime Minister because they have developed a strong friendship in the recent visit to India. So President Bolsonaro wanted to say how, in a very clear way, how important it was for him, for Brazil, to receive this product. And Prime Minister Modi was extremely positive, but he said that this was being discussed inside the government and he would soon give an answer. Well, as you know, the president fell in love with India in that trip, and since then he is very interested by all things Indian. And he was fascinated also by the fact that religion is so strong and so important in India. And President Bolsonaro is a very religious man, and he saw how religious was also Prime Minister Modi.
And India's guiding principle anyway is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This entire world is one home, one family, and one part of the family must help another part of the family. That's exactly what India is doing. Our neighbors may be sending death, India sends life. Indian Air Force, for example, it's undertaking what is called Operation Sanjeevani, helping out people, not just in our country, but also in the neighborhood. For example, the Indian Air Force has flown sorties into Wuhan. IAF pilots, IAF aircraft, they've flown into harm's way to bring back Indians from Wuhan, from Tehran in Iran. They've also flown sorties to neighboring countries. Maldives, for example, helping them. That's the effort. 130 sorties have been undertaken so far. That's not all. The Indian Air Force has also set up a quarantine facility. So our air warriors, whether it's in war or in peace or in distressing times like these, they are ever ready to help. I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Manjeet Singh Negi, who brings us details of India's air efforts, Indian Air Force air efforts. Manjeet, you've been speaking to officers in the Indian Air Force. Bring us details of the air efforts that have been undertaken so far and the road ahead.
Well, Gaurav, Air Force had sent its aircraft first to Wuhan and then Iran to bring back our people. Then support Maldives in terms of medical supply. Air Force has sent aircraft under the Operation Sanjeevani to Maldives and Nepal also. Air Force is ready to take any contingency both within the country and the outside. Indian Air Force had done 130 sorties so far involving its aircraft and helicopter carried out to 100 tons of relief material in different parts of country.
Okay. I also want to quickly bring into this broadcast Air Vice Marshal Suraj Singh, Assistant Chief of Air Staff Operations, who joins us on the show. Sir, welcome on India First. Let me compliment you on the great work that our air warriors have been doing, but give us details of the preparations and the flight path ahead for our air warriors, sir.
Gaurav, Indian Air Force is fully prepared and ready to meet all eventualities when it comes to COVID-19. Both on the operational front, Air Force is fully ready in all critical functionalities and alert status wise. Also on the national front, in order to provide support to the government, state government and other agencies to meet the requirement of shifting medical supplies and associated equipment, Air Force has deployed a large number of wide-bodied aircraft and also a large number of helicopters across the entire country. We have about approximately 30 fixed-wing transport aircraft and about more than 25 helicopters deployed across the entire country. We have also undertaken operations when it comes to COVID operations, to international routes. We have, in fact, Indian Air Force was the first to launch the C-17 to pick up the Indians and also people from friendly countries from Wuhan. Subsequently, we undertook a mission to Iran. We also sent one aircraft under Op Sanjeevani to Male in order to provide the medical facilities and equipment. We also had an aircraft which went to support for government of Nepal. So these activities are going on constantly, both at the domestic and international level, and Air Force is fully prepared for all operational activities and also to meet the domestic commitments.
So, what's your top priority as of now? What's the message that's gone from the Chief of the Air Staff to all the air warriors and their families, and how are you coordinating this entire effort with the civil setup?
Air Force has been very, very proactive. Gaurav, I told you, when it comes to the personnel, the directions were issued not now, in fact, way back in the beginning of March. And in fact, before Holi, the directions were given to make sure that we do not interact much. We maintain the social distance. People have been cautioned about it. Advisories have been issued for all personnel and station. The manpower working in various offices has been reduced. Teams have been formulated to order to support each other in case of requirement and work in shift. Video conferences have been introduced to make sure that people interact for daily office activities through video conferences. In fact, the crisis management cell has been set up at Air Headquarters, wherein regular interaction on 24-hour basis, situation is being monitored. Each command has got a crisis management cell. Our chief had video conference with all the CNCs, and it's a very regular activity where exchanges are done in terms of what is the situation and how to prepare forward. Both on operational front and within the organization, Air Force is fully geared up. And let me assure you, the resources are available to meet the challenges today and tomorrow. And we have resources in terms of both the aircraft and men in order to support the requirement of medical supplies across the entire country, and we are fully geared up. All our critical functionalities are in place, and all operational necessities are being addressed constantly, and situation is being monitored on a regular basis.
Okay. Now, within the Air Force, Air Vice Marshal, if I may, within the Air Force, there was this report of a sergeant visiting the Markaz Tabligh Jamaat, and what details can you give us about that? And now, what are steps being taken to ensure that, like there's containment in the civil setup, nothing should spread within the Air Force, sir?
Gaurav, we did have a sergeant who visited Nizamuddin area. It's not confirmed whether he went to the Tablighi Jamaat, but he did go to Nizamuddin area, yes. And the moment the Air Force came to know, we took all the precautions, and he has been quarantined in his home. In fact, he came in contact with 2 more people during this period, and they also have been quarantined as a precautionary measure. Air Force has been very, very proactive in order to ensure that the preventive measures are proactively instituted and employed. Tests for the sergeant have been undertaken. The preliminary report is negative with respect to COVID virus for the sergeant.
Okay. Oh, that's heartening to hear. I'm so glad. I'm so glad he tested negative. Wish you and all our air warriors and their families all the best. Air Vice Marshal Surat Singh, many thanks for joining me here on India First. While we're talking about the Markaz Tablighi-e-Jamaat, let's now talk in detail about Maulana Saad. Now, Delhi police have still not succeeded in reaching Maulana Saad. He apparently says he's in self-quarantine. A list of questions was sent out. There's another list that's gone. Forensics team, they visited the Markaz several times now. A strong case is being built, and this is more than just negligence.
More than 2 weeks after Tablighi Jamaat chief Maulana Saad went into hiding, his location has been finally traced. Saad is in Zakir Nagar, a densely populated neighborhood in South Delhi, nearly 7 kilometers from Nizamuddin Markaz.
We have been given to understand by the police that now the police has his location, but at this point of time they are not planning to question Maulana Saad face to face because he himself attended the gathering at Markaz in Nizamuddin and he might be a suspected case of Covid-19. Sources within the Delhi police have also told India Today that they will be sending notices to Maulana Saad and they will be seeking answers in regards to all those who attended the gathering and about the funding which his organization was receiving from last few years.
Sources say the crime branch is scrutinizing Tablighi Jamaat's bank details. They are probing whether the organization is being financed by the radical outfit PFI. Meanwhile, the Mumbai police has filed an FIR against 150 Jamaat members for negligence and disobedience. Nearly 50 to 60 people who attended the congregation in Delhi are hiding in Maharashtra. Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh has hit out at the Delhi police and centre for not stopping the Tablighi Jamaat event in mid-March. He also targeted NSA Ajit Doval for allegedly letting Maulana Saad escape. In West Bengal, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is facing questions from opposition for not revealing number of coronavirus cases linked to Jamaat.
Bengal is not a place for communal activities, okay? You have to control yourself first. This is a Hindu Musliman.
The Tablighi Jamaat congregation is being called the super spreader of coronavirus in India. So far, over 1,500 cases of COVID linked to Jamaat have emerged. With Munish Pandey in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
We'll be tracking this story very closely, but this is a very crucial time. It's very important for you and your loved ones to stay home and stay safe. We are out there to get you facts first and keep India first. That is all we have for on this special broadcast. Many thanks for watching.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.